All right, let's talk about something we all feel. We live in this world that's just constantly buzzing with notifications, right? Our to-do lists seem like they're a mile long. So the big question is, how do we actually reclaim our focus and get the important stuff done? We're going to dive into how to tame that constant whirlwind of distractions.
I mean, does this sound familiar? You have one of those days where you feel like you're running a marathon. You're jumping between emails, meetings, Slack messages, and then at the end of the day, you kind of lean back in your chair and think, wait, what did I actually accomplish today? It's that classic trap, right? Mistaking being busy for being productive. Okay, so before we can even think about finding a solution, we've got to properly diagnose the problem. So for this first part, let's really define what this modern work crisis looks like.
This quote from author Cal Newport just hits the nail on the head. Think about that for a second. The one skill that is becoming more valuable for success, that ability to really focus, is the one that's slipping through our fingers. That's the core of the problem we're trying to solve here. So Newport breaks all our work down into two main buckets. You've got deep work, that's when you're in the zone, totally focused, no distractions, and you're really pushing your brain to its limits. That's where the magic happens. And then you've got shallow work. This is the busy work, right? The logistical stuff, answering emails while you're half listening to something else. It doesn't really create anything new. So our goal here is pretty simple, at least in theory. Do more of the deep stuff and way, way less of the shallow. So what's one of the biggest enemies of that deep work we want? It's all this mental clutter. You know that little voice in the back of your head going, oh, I can't forget to email Mary, or that report is due Tuesday. The Getting Things Done method, or GTD, has a great name for these, open loops. There are all these unfinished tasks just floating around in your brain, causing stress and just yanking your focus away from what you're trying to do right now. All right, so if we're going to escape that shallow work trap, the very first step is to start looking at our to-do list through a totally new lens. It's not about what's next on the list, it's about what truly matters.
And that brings us to this, a surprisingly powerful number, 80-20. What on earth could this have to do with your to-do list? Well, it turns out, a lot. This is the Pareto principle. You might know it as the 80-20 rule. And here's the crazy thing when you apply it to work. It basically says that for most things, roughly 80% of your results will come from just 20% of your effort. Let that sink in. Most of what you achieve comes from a tiny fraction of what you do. So the whole game is about identifying and then fiercely protecting that vital 20%.
You know who understood this perfectly? President Dwight D. Eisenhower. He just knew that the things that are screaming for our attention right now are rarely the things that are going to help us hit our big goals. And that amazing insight led to a brilliant little tool for prioritization. And here it is, the Eisenhower matrix. It looks simple, but it is incredibly effective. It's just a framework for sorting every single thing on your plate into one of 4 boxes based on 2 really simple questions. Is it urgent? And is it important? Let's quickly walk through these quadrants. Quadrant 1, do first. That's for your fires and your crises. Then you jump over to Quadrant 3, delegate. These are urgent, but not that important, so see if you can hand them off. Quadrant 4, dump. Well, that's easy. It's the time wasters, just get rid of them. But the real magic, the secret sauce, is right here in Quadrant 2, decide. These are the important, but not urgent tasks. This, my friends, is where deep work lives. Okay, so now we have the principles. We know how to spot our deep work. But that's not enough, right? Now we need to build actual systems to put these ideas into practice every single day. This is where we go from theory to action. Remember all that mental chatter, those open loops we talked about? Well, here's the solution. It's what the GTD method calls a trusted system. And it's exactly what it sounds like. A single place outside your head, could be a notebook, an app, doesn't matter, where you capture absolutely everything. Because once your brain learns to trust that everything is captured somewhere safe, it can finally let go and actually focus on the task at hand. A perfect example of a trusted system is something like a Kanban board. You're looking at one right here in the app Trello. It's so simple and visual. You can just track your tasks as they move across the board, from to do to in progress, and then, the best part, over to done. It's such a clear and honestly super satisfying way to see your progress. Now, before you can change how you spend your time, you've got to be brutally honest about where it's actually going right now. And that's where a time audit comes in. For maybe a week, you just track your activities. And I'm telling you, the results can be, well, a little shocking. It is the ultimate reality check for your schedule. So once you know where your time is going, you can start telling it where to go. That's Time blocking. It's a proactive strategy where you literally schedule your day into dedicated blocks for specific activities. This is how you build a fortress around your time to protect it for that crucial quadrant 2 deep work.
Now hold on, because people mix this up all the time. Time blocking is not the same as time boxing. Here's the key difference. Time blocking is about reserving time for a general activity, like from 9 to 11 a.m., I am working on the marketing project. You're creating a protected space. Time boxing, on the other hand, puts a time limit on a specific task. For example, I'm giving myself exactly 25 minutes to complete the payment page. See the difference? Blocking creates the space, and boxing creates the intense focus within that space.
Okay, we've got the principles, we've got the systems. Now for the final part, let's pull it all together into one powerful, dead simple ritual that will help you win your day every single day.
And it all starts with this fantastic quote, usually credited to Mark Twain. So what's your frog? It's that one big important task. You know the one you are most likely to put off. And the advice is simple, just eat it first.
So here's how you put it all together. Step 1, you identify your frog for the day. And this isn't just any old task, this is your most important task, your critical quadrant 2 item from the Eisenhower matrix. Step 2, size it right. Make sure it's something that'll take between 1 and 4 hours. Step 3, and this is key, prepare the night before. And finally, step 4, you eat that frog, first thing. Before you check email, before you get sidetracked, no excuses.
So, I'm going to leave you with this question, and I want you to really think about it right now. What is that one task, that one project, that one frog that you've been avoiding, that you know deep down could change everything if you just got it done? Figure out what that is, and tomorrow morning, go eat that frog.